Sam here. I hope you are all staying safe and healthy. Since school is canceled and we're spending a little more time inside these days, I thought I could bring the classroom to your computer screens. During this uncertain time, I plan to make maybe 1 or 2 videos a week with several posts and blogs thrown in as well. If you guys do have any requests or suggestions, please include them in the comments below. Today, I'll be showing you what I've been up to with my parents the last couple of days. It was for preparation for the spring and our pollinator garden. To give you guys a little background, last summer we received a grant from TD Friends of the Environment Foundation to put a pollinator garden on the west side of Springwater Conservation Area, near the Catfish Creek Conservation Authority office. So we cleared the grass, made a trail, and had several volunteers help us plant a dozen or so different native wildflower species. It included black-eyed Susans, echinacea, ironweed, lance leaf, and milkweed, and a couple others. We also made a section of the garden dedicated to tallgrass prairie. As part of the Carolinian Life Zone, this part of Ontario used to have about 1,000 kilometers squared of tallgrass prairie. Now only about 3% of that remains. Most tallgrass communities have been lost over the past 200 years due to human use of the land for agriculture and urbanization. Tallgrass communities are important as they provide habitat for a huge number of wildlife species, with most of those species being at risk. Tallgrass prairies themselves are considered to be an ecosystem at risk, as there has been such a dramatic decrease. Once completed, Catfish Creek CCCA staff will use our garden as an educational tool to teach and advocate for pollinators and tallgrass prairies. As this summer will be our second planting, I want to have our plants a bit farther along and healthy, so I need to get them started now. With being at home right now, I thought it would be best to use this opportunity as an educational one. So I have purchased a couple mini greenhouses and seeds to grow in preparation for this planting. I will show you a nice overview of this process. You will see myself, and along with my mom and dad, who helped me with this project. All right, let's get down to work. All you need is a mini greenhouse, which I purchased from a local garden store, but I do think you could also make your own if you had the dirt, and also a plastic container that will be able to incubate the plants and create a kind of humidity space, aka it'll be able to collect moisture in the sunlight. My container is about 25 centimeters by maybe 55 centimeters. Mine contains 50 pods of dirt. You will also need about 2 liters of warm water per greenhouse and some sort of measuring device. Finally, your most important material, your seeds. I got a couple leftovers from my mom, the first one being nasturtiums. She thought these would be a nice addition to our garden as they're a very versatile and attractive plant. We really like attractive and brightly colored flowers because that's what attracts our pollinators. The great thing about nasturtiums is that they are easy to grow and actually thrive on a little neglect, which is sometimes ideal when you don't have a full-time gardener on staff. We really wanted nasturtiums planted near my other seeds as they help lure aphids away from neighboring plants. An aphid is a small, sap-sucking insect that can hurt our plants. Nasturtiums are also fully edible. The next seed I have is marigolds. Another bright and attractive flower for our pollinators. As well, it's also edible. Only the petals though. Marigolds have very few pests and problems. They also make a great companion plant, meaning they help the garden out in some way. Marigolds do it by attracting hoverflies that feed on problem pests. These beautiful flowers are called cosmos. The flowers come in whites and pinks, and it's also a very easy plant to grow. It also gets very tall. It'll fit right in with our coneflowers. If you were to grow these flowers yourself in a pollinator garden, they actually grow quite well if you just scatter the seeds in the garden. Next, I got a whole package of milkweed seeds. This is a very important plant for the monarch butterfly, a pollinator species at risk. It is the only plant monarchs lay their eggs on, and the only plant monarch caterpillars feed on. Naturally, the seeds are dispersed by wind. Just like dandelions, they have fluffy seeds. But we're helping our garden along by ensuring some are kick-started in this garden this summer. If you look closely at a developed milkweed flower, you would be able to see the nectar cups that hold nectar easily for our pollinators to drink out of. Lastly, I got a packet of wildflower seeds. This one is called the Great Lakes Blend, that will have a few more diverse species like black-eyed Susans, bergamot, primrose, and many more. This packet, though, I will spread right out at the garden and rake into our dirt. As you can see, we wouldn't be able to separate them for our pods.